Alright, in this video we're going to continue our work with integers. Since we now know what integers are and how to compare them and use them in real life situations, we're going to start looking at integer operations. So today's notes will be called integer operations. So make sure you put today's date in the top right corner of your notes. So when we're working with integers, the first operation we'll do is adding. So if you want to add, it means you move to the right on a number line. So let's say I gave you these two integers that we're adding together. We had -3 plus 8. We're trying to figure out what does it equal. So if we drew a number line, we're starting at -3 and we're adding 8 to -3. So that means I'm going to move 8 spaces to the right from -3. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we move to the right. So -3 plus 8 gave me +5. So using a number line will always be a way you can work with adding and subtracting integers, especially when you have negatives and positive numbers. So using the number line that was given to you during class, try using the number line to add the following integers. 1 plus 8. -11 plus 2. -2 plus 6. And -9 plus 13. So take a minute, use the number line, and try adding those integers together. For 1 plus 8, you should have gotten 9. You start at 1 and you move 8 spaces to the right. For -2 plus 6, you should have gotten 4. You start at -2 and you move 6 spaces to the right. For -11 plus 2, you should have gotten -9. You start at -11 and you add 2 spaces to the right. And for -9 plus 13, you should have gotten 4. So that's adding integers using a number line. All right, let's look at the other operations. So instead of adding now, we're going to subtract. And when you subtract, that means you move left on a number line. So let's say I gave you this problem. -1 minus 3. What is that going to equal? So we'll use a number line. Starting at -1. This time we're going to move left because we're subtracting 3. So I'm going to count backwards, or left, 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3. So -1 minus 3 is -4. So again, I'm going to give you some problems. I want you to try using your number line. You can hit pause on the video at this point. And I would like you, after I write down these problems, you can hit pause. So I'm going to give you 4 problems. -2 minus -5, 9 minus 4, 4 minus 6, and then 5 minus -4. So hit pause right now and see if you can try those 4 problems. All right, so for the first one, 9 minus 4, you should have gotten 5. 4 minus 6 is -2. -2 minus 5 is -7. This one's a tricky one. You have +5 minus -4. So a negative. Remember, a negative actually turns into a positive when they're written next to each other like that. So this is actually 5 plus 4. So this actually turns into 9. So be very careful with that problem when you have 2 negatives that are next to each other with the parentheses. That means you're going to be multiplying and make that positive. All right, the last operations we'll look at are rules for multiplying and dividing. All right. So remember the rules for multiplying and dividing. When you have 2 positive numbers, 2 positives, make a positive. So when you multiply or divide 2 negative numbers, when you multiply 2 positive numbers, it makes a positive. Or when you divide 2 positive numbers, it makes a positive. 2 negative numbers also make a positive. So when you multiply or divide 2 negative numbers, that turns into a positive. And last is when you have 1 positive, so a positive number, and a negative number, that makes a negative. So here's some examples. If you had negative 9 times 3, that gives you negative 27. 11 times, I'm using the dot this time, remember that means multiply, times negative 2 is negative 22. Because we had a positive times a negative gives us a negative. Another way to show multiplication is with parentheses. So 8 times negative 3, so a positive times a negative is a negative. 20 divided by, this time, negative 10 is negative 2. Negative 40 divided by 5 is negative 8. And again, this is a different way of showing division, is with the slash mark. And a final way of showing division is using a fraction bar. If I take negative 12 divided by negative 3, two negatives are going to give me a positive. All right, so these are the rules when working with integers and the operations that you complete with them. So solving or adding and subtracting, or multiplying and dividing.